But I try to learn. I try to learn every day, and I try to learn through different sources, you know. I try to learn through listening. I try to learn through living life. That's a big one, because a lot of people just listen and study, and they think that's the only way they're going to learn. But you got to go out there and do something too, you know. I was in school for a while. I still made time to do the hobbies and activities that I want to learn through and grow through on top of, you know, biochemistry. Pretty hard major. But you study. I'd listen to things too, you know. Listen to podcasts, listen to different materials, you know, different scientists, different things like that. And then on top of that, you live life, because you can be as book smart as you want to be, but getting experience out here that you can apply to other people, you can form friendships through. And people think, you know, like, oh, I know all this information, I don't need help from anyone, right? I had this perspective for a while in school. I do everything alone. That's how I thought things would be, you know. But then I meet people who help me out. You know, we help each other, and you grow with other people. It's not that doing activities is necessarily going to make you smarter, but through doing activities, you're gonna have shared passions and shared interests with people who might also be smart. And then you form an unlikely connection with someone else who's smart, and then you both learn from each other. So that living of life, it's not like, yes, inherently you might not learn something from just living, but what you're gonna get is insight on those hobbies, whatever they are, and then you'll be able to form relationships with that knowledge, because you'll have something to talk about these people, and they'll be like, oh, he does what I do, that's pretty cool. And maybe that guy's a smart ass, and then all of a sudden you guys form this friendship with two smart people, and you're both just learning, bouncing ideas off one another, and you're growing as individuals. So that's why I preach, you know, you can listen to stuff, you can write as much as you want, read as much as you want, but living, you're gonna gain a lot from that, from getting out there and speaking to people and doing hobbies and doing things. So it's important, you know, open up your book to all ways of learning and learn through relationships. You'll meet some of the smartest people, you'll learn some of the smartest things, you know. I remember my freshman year of college, I met this guy named Zach. And Zach was so fucking smart. But the way we met was I was in the front row and Zach was throwing up on the first day of class. And I had no idea this kid was smart. You know, I thought he was probably an idiot. But he was throwing up, and then I make a joke to him or something. And, you know, we end up talking. And, like, through that, we formed, like, a big friendship. Like, this dude, we would study together, and we were just learning. Like, it was back and forth information, just us learning so much. We studied together for hours, and it was fun. I had, like, some of my best times in college just studying with this dude, Zach. He was a senior. I was a freshman, but he was such an awesome guy. I got an A in that class, you know, and I probably never would have excelled in that class if it wasn't for me meeting this person by just making a joke to him, you know, and being friendly, because I thought it was funny, you know. I'm like, you're hungover, man? Like, what, you know? But that's like, you get out there, you meet people, and you learn through them, man. It's such an amazing experience. So yeah, you know, get out there, make friends, make jokes, you know, talk to people.